Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to discuss with you Chelsea versus Arsenal, match day 9 of the English Premier League. It's going to be the biggest game of the weekend. Chelsea have managed 3 wins out of 8, and Arsenal are unbeaten. So coming into this game, Arsenal are second on the league log, Chelsea are 11th. It's going to be a crucial game for both teams because it is what I would call a test for both of the teams. Arsenal have passed the first one, but they need this one against Chelsea. It's a London derby, and of course the dynamics are so different. So subscribe to this and then let's enjoy the content. Let's start with some team news from the camp of the home team, Chelsea. Now, Chelsea coming into this game, over the week we've seen regimes return to full training. There's also Axel Disasi, who has also returned to training. Nicolas Jackson is training. Armando Broja is still out, but Benoit Bediashile is also returning to full fitness. Most likely feature in this game as either a sub or a starter. Now, Mauricio Pochettino says that they still need to have some assessment on these players to determine whether they can start the game or they will even be featured in the bench. So big news coming in from the camp of Chelsea. Woo! Mauricio Pochettino is speaking, and then he's saying that they still need some tests, some allo things to be done before they can confirm these players fully fit. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo have returned from the international break. So Caicedo returned last afternoon. So on Thursday afternoon, Caicedo was at the Cobham Training Center, as well as Enzo, who was around by Wednesday. Now, there are 2 wins that are very significant to Chelsea this season. Before the international break, they had managed 2 wins in the Premier League. So first off, they dumped Fulham by 2-0, and then they finished the thrashing at the Turf Moor. They did it against Vincent Kompany's Burnley side, winning 4-1. Don't forget that they were down by a lone goal and then came back to finish that complete annihilation at the Turf Moor. So 4-1, they scored. That was the first time Chelsea had come back from a goal behind to win a game since October 2022. So they have not done that in a full year. But I will say Chelsea, they did the job neatly against Burnley at the Turf Moor. But people will say this game, Burnley have not been playing well. But of course, it is a major boost to the confidence of these players. About Chelsea in general, because it's not been good for them. They're currently lying 11th on the league log. They have managed 11 points. Chelsea have won 3 games. They have drawn 2 games and they have lost 3. So they have 3 wins and they have lost 3 with 2 draws in 8 matches. They have managed 11 goals and they have conceded 7. They have 11 points and they are 11th on the league log. Quite not significant, but then the most significant thing is that in their last 2 matches they've won and are coming around with such momentum. But let's see how this game will go for them. Let's take a quick break here. Let's look at the referee. Now, this is the first tip I'm giving everybody. This is a referee who is Chris Kavanagh, and he is the referee who officiated the Liverpool and West Ham game where Liverpool won by 3-1. The same one who officiated Newcastle against Manchester City, where Newcastle did have the win against Manchester City by 1-0 in the EFL Cup. Now, this same referee has this sort of character for big games. In big games, he usually shows yellow cards. So he's averaging 3.62 yellow cards per game this season. So it means that at least 4 yellow cards will be shown. I'm predicting at least 4 yellow cards will be shown in this game of intensity and in this game of rivalry. And derbies are very special to these people. So at least 4 yellow cards if you are going to put your money on something. Watch out. At least 4 yellow cards will be in this game. Now, let's take a look at the Arsenal team, because Arsenal are the team to talk about. Charlie, they are unbeaten. Arsenal is unbeaten in 8 games this season. So they have drawn 2 games and then the rest are wins. They have won 6. currently second with 20 points on a league log. So Arsenal, Charlie, Arsenal are playing some very good football. I should tell you. So typically, Arsenal are going to set up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with that variation of a 4-3-3. So basically, David Raya will be maintained in post. We had Aaron Ramsdale complain about his lack of game time at Arsenal. And then he was saying that he was not happy about it and blah, blah, blah. But Mikel Arteta says, hey, if you have such energy, please channel it in the training. Show us what you've got during training, and you'll be picked. Now, David Raya has played well for Arsenal. He has managed 2 clean sheets, and then most significant of all was that clean sheet against Manchester City. Don't forget, in that game, City managed 1 shot on target. That's not City-like, but then Arsenal made it happen, and they made it happen with the likes of David Raya at the back of the defense, specifically in the goalpost. Now, we'll be partnered and supported in the defense with the likes of Oxlade Zinchenko. Zinchenko, during the international break, had an assist when Ukraine played against Malta, and of course, he assisted that 30th minute goal by Sudakov. And against Malta, he had an assist. So he's got a very, very good international break, and is coming in with a lot of attacking prowess, I should say, especially coming in from that left hand side. He's lovely to watch, and he joins the midfield, and he plays more like a number 3 as a number 8. You know, that sort of variations and in-game variations coming in from Mikel Arteta. Typical Mikel Arteta play would see Zinchenko start, and then on the right hand side, there's no doubt about this, is going to be Ben White. Ben White is going to be featured in this game. And then at the centre-back pairing, that's where it's going to be a bit of a headache, because William Saliba is doubtful. But Gabriel Magalhaes also had a very good international break. He scored the opener before Venezuela equalized in that World Cup qualifier game, with an assist coming from Neymar dos Santos Jr., who is sadly injured. I need to do a video about Neymar, but then let's talk about the Arsenal game now. It's going to be a midfield battle that's going to be interesting, because Jorginho will feature in this one. Trust me, Jorginho will feature. That talks about starting Thomas Partey, but of course Partey was also involved in Ghana's game against Mexico. Typically, he came in for, he enjoyed 45 minutes of that one. So he's getting his groove on. But he's coming back from a fresh injury, and Mikel wouldn't want to risk him in such a high-profile game. So going with Jorginho. Jorginho has got it. He's got it. He's coming from Chelsea. He's a Chelsea boy. He knows the Chelsea system and all that. So it's going to be very emotional for Jorginho, returning to the Stamford Bridge, a place where he did win the UEFA Champions League, and then had a lot of successes at. Let's see how he controls his emotions, and as a professional, I wouldn't find it a problem for Jorginho. Now, he'll be supported by Ben... That's a Ben White, Charlie, forgive me. Declan Rice. Man! Declan Rice is balling! This is one of the most exceptional performances I have personally seen Declan Rice play. Let me get some water. Now, Declan Rice is what you would typically prefer in your midfield combo. In any midfield trial, you need a Declan Rice feature, a Declan Rice-like person, if you like, a Rice-like person. Man, he's good defensively, and when the team is attacking too, he has his head right in the game. And his knowledge of the game is also up there. So Declan Rice will feature, and then finally, Martin Odegaard, the captain of the moment, if you ask me. Forget about Bruno Fernandes. Odegaard is balling. This setup will have Odegaard sitting right behind the striker, which in this case is going to be Eddie Nketiah. And of course, on the flanks, that's where there's doubt also for Arsenal. Because, hey, Bukayo Saka is doubtful for this encounter. And I'm not sure Mikel Arteta would risk Bukayo Saka at this time. So most definitely is going to be, once again, Gabriel Jesus on the right side, featuring Gabriel Martinelli on the left side. So it's going to be 2 Brazilians on the flanks, with Gabriel Martinelli attacking the left flank, and then Gabriel Jesus attacking the right flank, and centrally in that number 9 role will be Eddie Nketiah. So Eddie Nketiah will feature also in this game. Now, that is the setup I'm predicting for Arsenal. It's most likely that Eddie Nketiah will start up front with Gabriel Martinelli on the left, and of course, Gabriel Jesus on the right. Now, Chelsea will set up, of course, with Robert Sanchez in post. On the right-hand side, there's talks about Malo Gusto returning to enjoy his playing time. Now, Malo Gusto returns from his suspension. He's most likely to feature on the right side. But hey, there is that guy, Marco Correa, who's also talked about to also feature on that right side as well. He's been playing in recent times on the right for Chelsea. Tuchel will be on the left, a centre-back pairing of Thiago Silva and of course Benoit Bediashile, because Axel Disasi is also doubtful for this encounter. So it's going to be either of Benoit Bediashile or Axel Disasi will be partnering Thiago Silva for this all-important encounter. In the midfield, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, two of the most expensive midfielders of all time. And of course, for Chelsea Football Club, it's back-to-back breaking banks for them in terms of midfield superiorities. They've got Enzo and then Moises Caicedo, who were involved a lot for their national teams this international break. So they will be leggy and they would be fatigued. But of course, these are professionals and they're players at that top level that they expect that sort of energy influx from them. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they are started. And then up front, just ahead of Enzo and then Moises Caicedo will be Conor Gallagher, because trust me, Conor Gallagher, of all the Chelsea midfielders currently, he is that guy that has the most instincts to go. He has that goal instinct, and once Conor Gallagher is playing his football, trust me, he's not your favorite customer, but then trust me, he's got something in there, especially with the likes of Kani Chukwuemeka injured. Conor Gallagher would feature, and he'll be a mainstay in that team, occupying that number 10 role. Now to the flanks, Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. Raheem Sterling, good football. Now he's more direct. He is the Raheem Sterling that we knew at Manchester City. Now, if Chelsea would have much of threats up front, you cannot eliminate the threat that comes from Raheem Sterling on that left side. Now on the right, Palmer will most likely feature on the right-hand side for Chelsea. Now, Palmer comes in with a lot of skill. His left foot is brilliant. He also comes in with those kind of cutting in runs, gets the ball on his favorite left foot, and of course, you trust me, Cole Palmer will strike. And when he strikes on target, you definitely have something you have to deal with. Now, right ahead of them is Nicolas Jackson. Jackson will most likely return to the starting 11. He's had problems with discipline. 5 games he had 5 yellow cards, and then he had to be suspended. But hey, Nicolas Jackson will most likely feature because Armando Broja is out. Coach Mauricio Pochettino has confirmed. Now, this is where it gets more interesting, because Nicolas Jackson also has 2 goals in his last 2 starts for Chelsea Football Club. So, what's going to happen? Now, these are the key duels. These are the key things that we need to look out for. The midfield dominance. Now, I told you earlier on that the trial between Jorginho, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard, this trial is a control freak trial. So these are 3 players who would man the midfield, and they did that same thing against Manchester City. In the City game, City did not have a lot of time on the ball. They did not take a lot of time to make their decisions on the ball. Fine, you can make a case of City not having their creators, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Rodrigo Cascante, who would create from infield and then get the ball across. But then, hey, they don't care, Charlie. These are people who would control the game, take their time on the ball, and dictate the pace of the game. Martin Odegaard, super player, who would be playing that number 10 role and then will be handing Arsenal most of those incisive passes to the forward line. And trust me, when those passes get there, they have people who are capable of the finish. So of course, Gabriel Martinelli, who did that against Manchester City, and of course they have Gabriel Jesus, who's threatening in front of goal, and the likes of their main man starting up front, Eddie Nketiah. Arsenal will be in charge of the midfield. So Declan Rice, Jorginho, and Martin Odegaard will keep tabs on the midfield for Arsenal, winning on the second balls, and of course battling and controlling with such aggression as well. Now, if Partey is introduced in the second half, that gives Arsenal another plus, because Partey is also good on the ball. He has that sort of instinct. His ball instincts are very high. He can attack, and of course he can defend, and defend very well. If you are looking for a player who will screen that midfield, who screen that back line, he will be that guy who do that for you. But in his absence, there's Declan Rice, and there's of course Jorginho, who will be doing that for you. Now, then it comes to the laterals, the battle of the laterals. If you ask me, the first battle we'd like to watch out for is the battle Ben White will be facing on the right flank against Raheem Sterling. Boom. Two English players who have known themselves, and so have played against themselves, and so they know the game. Raheem Sterling this season is Raheem Sterling, who is on top form. Not so many goals, not so many numbers, because the Chelsea team is not performing as a unit. But hey, there's a player who can hurt you. Now, given his pace, Ben White will just have to keep tabs on Raheem Sterling. Don't give him that space. Don't give him that enough time to think on the ball, because when you get Raheem Sterling an inch, he will turn it into a yard. And when Raheem gets a yard, you are definitely going to be punished. He's going to get the job done, or he's going to get others to get the job done for him. So definitely keep tabs on Raheem. If you fail to do that, you are going to concede, and you're going to concede a lot from Raheem. Now, the second battle on the laterals that you would like to watch out for is that battle that is going on the right-hand side. So if Cucurella is going to start on the right-hand side, he is going to be facing that sort of battle from Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is tricky. He's skillful. He's a Brazilian, So he's got that sort of skill set that every ordinary Brazilian would have. But Gabriel Jesus is playing on another level. His ability to play on both flanks and through the middle is one gift that not all Brazilian centre forwards have. Now, attacking through the right, if Mauricio Pochettino starts Cucurella, it means that Arsenal would then have to switch to create an overload on that left channel of the attack. So drifting to the left will be, of course, your favorite and usual customer. Gabriel Jesus is already there. Eddie Nketiah will come to support him. They'll try to create that overload, and the captain of the day, Martin Odegaard, will also be around. Don't forget that Declan Rice will be around, who will be sniffing those paces. And then, of course, the midfield and defense left back. The reason I termed that, I'll do a special series on him, Oxlade Zinchenko, and his role at Arsenal. Super player. Playing from that left back, combining so well with the midfield duties, and then linking to the attack line is going to be sweet. It's going to be an overload that Chelsea would need to protect. And so that decision will lie on Mauricio Pochettino, to make. But then, of course, Arsenal will create that overload once it happens. And even Malo Gusto, if Malo Gusto starts, I'm predicting same for Arsenal. So, of course, that overload will be created, and that will be where most of the chances that Arsenal will be creating will be coming from. Now, the question I ask myself is how Moises Caicedo will fare in this game, because boy has not played so well since joining Chelsea from Brighton and Hove Albion. There's talk about his price tag, but of course, he didn't set the price tag himself. It may affect his performance, But then I think that personally, he will need this game to prove a point to his doubters. And then settle in. But how will he be able to stop the runs coming in from the Arsenal midfield? So of course, there's talk about Martin Odegaard, who'll be doing that a lot of times. If Odegaard is coming in, how would Moises Caicedo be able to, in combination with the backline players, shield that Chelsea defense from those kind of runs? Now, I would predict that Arsenal would win that midfield battle. I've already talked about it earlier, with the likes of Enzo and Moises Caicedo struggling at Chelsea playing together. This is not something that is new, and we've all seen how their struggles have been. This is a time to turn around for Chelsea, but of course the opponents, you don't turn around with Arsenal, if you ask me. So I'm predicting more of an Arsenal win or draw. So there's a double chance for Arsenal in this encounter. Arsenal most likely to score first and then go all the way to win this one. So it's going to be very, very tricky, but I'm going in for a 2-1 win for Arsenal. 2-1 win for Arsenal. Thank you very much for joining me for this special edition. Give me a subscribe if you like this one. Of course, drop your comments. What's your suggestion? Also, this is my suggestion. Drop yours too in the comment section, and I'll see you next time.